record on the computer. Okay, so welcome Haley, and welcome Jeff, and welcome Bailey, and welcome Farah. My name is Larry Green, and this is the online statistics class. It's the Math 201 class. And welcome Kyle Lynch. Will you write your name in? And Dominique Tistant. Welcome to the class. So I'm just checking as we go. So this is the online statistics class. And again, I want to welcome you all. I think that you'll find this class rewarding. This is a very different kind of math class in that it's not about seeing whether you can do abstract thinking for reasons no other than to show that you can do abstract thinking and teach you how to do abstract thinking. This class is about, can you use what we're learning in all kinds of fields, and that's what it's about, and that's all it's about. We don't do pure math, so it's not about moving x's around, which is what you're used to in an algebra class, right? It's not about getting an answer at the end, circling it, and that number has absolutely no meaning for no reason. Everything we do has lots of reasoning, lots of reasons to do it, and you will see by the end of the quarter that's true. It doesn't make it an easy class, but it definitely makes it a, I consider it, and I teach all the math classes at our college, I consider it the most valuable class that we teach, especially for general majors. You know, if you happen to be a physics major, then obviously there's going to be some calculus stuff that's more valuable for physics majors. But if you're just a general major like psychology or nursing or business or, you know, your typical, you know, non-heavy math majors, you should find this a very valuable major, a very valuable course. So let me tell you what we're going to do today. Today, what we're not going to do is statistics. So that is going to happen starting in terms of webinars starting Tuesday. So today is all about getting you introduced to this course, to try to understand what you're going to be needing to do week by week, what's expected of you, how to navigate through the Canvas. Canvas is the online course. I know, Farah, you've been navigating for 24 hours. But how to look around and check out the syllabus and find the homework assignments and submit assignments and do discussion posts and ask questions and all the different things that you need to be able to do to be successful in this class. Again, what we're not going to do is any math. Okay, or any applications or anything like that. So this is all about getting what the course is about, kind of the structure. What I thought I wanted to do now that we might have everyone here, 2, 4, let's see, 3, 6 of you so far. Why don't you do if you don't mind, do a little quick introduction. I want to remind you though, I am posting this on YouTube. So if you don't want to introduce yourself visually or audibly, put it in the chat. And the chat does not get posted. I'm pretty sure cannot get seen on YouTube, so that's all private. But why don't we start out? I'll open this one up. Let's see. I'm going to start out with the people I can see their faces at least. Jeff, why don't you introduce yourself?
You sure the chat's private?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, let me double check if you want. I can check in about 20 seconds to know for sure. I just got to go to my YouTube. In fact, I can even show you. Just a minute. One of the nice things about this, what's called the Zoom tool is what we're using right now, is you can see what I'm seeing if I share my screen. So let me share my screen, and I'll show you what it's going to look like. My guess is all of you are familiar with YouTube. If not, then where have you been, right? So let me go to Winner 18 Online Statistics. And this is what it looks like. It says what last quarter's orientation looks like. You can see all the people.
Welcome. This is the online elementary statistics class. And this is...
I'm not seeing anything that shows... Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that shows any chat.
They truly are there and all that. No, you can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, but remember, it's private. The regular chat is private, as in it's not shown on the YouTube. But if you do a chat to everybody, then it's not private to each other.
Yeah, just 2 examples.
Let me drop that. And let's.
Yeah, I just don't want it on YouTube. But other than that, it's fine.
Yeah, but your picture is gonna be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. But honestly, you shouldn't be chatting anything that is that personal anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because one thing I've learned is that things get around. There's no such thing as privacy anymore. I won't tell anything, but maybe one of you guys, I'm not going to mention your names, but maybe you might say someone and then they'll post somewhere. You know how that works, right?
Yeah.
So that's just a general life warning, is that you should always beware. Always beware of anything that you post on a forum like this that other people might learn about it. Okay. But the chat should not show on YouTube.
All right, I'm typing it now.
Okay. And if it does, I will delete it, and this one won't happen, and tomorrow's orientation will happen, but I'll double check. Okay. Okay, so Jeff, you're a correctional officer of the state of California. Oh, I remember that. Getting a degree in criminal justice to pursue better opportunities within the state. Okay. Also very important, again, general degrees and correct. I consider that a general degree. You are not going to be needing calculus and all that kind of stuff to be a correctional officer.
I'll never use it in anything.
In calculus, you won't. But correctional officers, especially if you're making decisions, if all you're doing is standing in a hallway at a prison and making sure no one runs away, but that's probably not the extent of your job. But if you're making decisions, for example, on how long to recommend a parole for, or how long to recommend that it should take before someone gets paroled, then you do want to look at data and find out, how long it takes before somebody is ready to get out based on whatever they've got. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It has a lot less to do with numbers and a lot more to do with like case factors.
Yeah, but they use it because I have seen it. I've seen the research and I've seen that they do use some data.
Stats, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, one thing I can tell you, because I've looked at this for our college, is that prisoners who are students. So we have a program for prisons.
Mm-hmm.
If they are students, they're much less likely to end up back in prison after they're released than if they've not taken college classes.
Plus, they get time off for completing their courses, which is usually why they take the courses.
Right. But the point is that then they don't, and the reason why they get time off is that they typically don't go back and do the bad stuff again afterwards. And they know that because of statistics. Okay. Bailey, why don't you chime in next? Again, you can either put in the chat or you can talk. Either way.
I'll just talk.
Okay.
My name is Bailey Glover. I'm an ag business major, and I'm hoping to transfer to Fresno State next semester.
What major?
Ag business.
Ag business. Are you at what is it, Modesto?
Mm-hmm.
I figure. There's something about Modesto, and you guys love this class.
Because Modesto math is harder.
Is
That's
it?
what everyone says. I'm not saying your class can be easy, but
Yeah, no one can. No, I've never been accused of being easy, but I do pass most of my students.
yeah.
And that's because most of my students work hard.
Yeah.
And if you work your butt off, then you're almost certainly going to pass. Okay, I can't 100% guarantee it, but I can 95% guarantee it. And in statistics, we don't 100% do anything in statistics, but we can 95% guarantee in statistics. That's what stats is all about.
Yeah.
Okay. And ag business, ag and business, they definitely use a lot of stats because you want to find out what are your competitors out there doing, what's successful, and if you have data and you look at the data and you analyze it, you can figure that out. Okay. And you can find out what is your best action in terms of deciding how to make your business work. And based on, again, your past actions or your competitors' actions. And you want to look at that. Farah, why don't you introduce yourself?
I go to Mount Sac, and my major is health science.
Health science?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'm taking this class to transfer to Chapman.
Okay, great. Health science, is that for nursing?
It's for PA.
PA, I want to let you know, I'm sure you have heard of FDA approval.
Yeah.
What FDA approval involves? Any guess?
I forgot. I know what it means, but I
No,
forgot.
in one word. Statistics.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have to collect data, and then based on the data, they say they have significant evidence to show that this procedure, or this medication, or this technique in PA is successful compared to not having the technique or compared to other techniques.
Yeah.
That's how they make decisions. I'm not sure if you realize it, but they do. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, and Dominic?
Yeah, so I am pursuing, actually, I'm in San Francisco now, pursuing occupational therapy graduate school in the fall. So I'm applying in the fall, and this is one of the prerequisite courses in order to go to the program that I want to go to.
Okay, great. Unfortunately, I know about occupational therapy personally, not because I was a therapist. I was on the other side, and thank you. You're not, because you weren't even born when I was meeting it, but I was paralyzed for a very long time.
Oh, okay.
My hand was, and miraculously it came back. No one knows why. But I went through occupational therapy for a long time. And again, all medical decisions have to be backed up by statistics, or it won't be a medical decision. You know what I mean? In terms of a national medical decision. And that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, and the research and everything.
Yeah, and if you're going to grad school, I don't know anything about grad school in your field, but most grad students have to do some kind of thesis. And that thesis must involve, for most of them, data analysis. And guess what you're going to have to do? Statistics. I will tell you, it's going to happen. Pretty much all of you. There's almost nobody I can say, well, you're never going to use it. It won't happen. Stephen, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Stephen Kubik. I also live in San Francisco, and I'm also looking at graduate school for law school. So I think I don't have to write a thesis for a GD, which is awesome. But I was getting the certificate in CRJ, but I'm getting the AST, filling in some educational gaps from my undergrad, and had to take this class and didn't want to take algebra or trigonometry or anything.
Okay. Yeah, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I have personally consulted for lawyers.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And obviously for statistics.
Okay.
Yeah, and not for like Tahoe living or anything like that, because they wouldn't be interested in hiring me. But lawyers do, a lot of times they'll hire a statistician, but sometimes, it helps a lawyer if they actually understand what their statistician's saying. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to make a good argument, right? So that will definitely help.
Okay.
And I'll also tell you the other weird news, I charge more when it's for a lawyer.
You charge what?
I charge more money when it's for a lawyer.
Oh, well, yeah.
They want me to charge more. I don't understand the finances, but they do. But yeah, it's definitely used. And let's see, Kyle.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Excellent. So my name is Kyle. I'm checking in from Santa Barbara right now. I was living in Tahoe last year. I've been going to LTCC for about a year and a half almost now. And I'm getting ready to transfer to Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo for anthropology and geography.
Great. Yeah, anthropology, geology, they use stats too. I'm not an expert in either of them, but I know that I've seen it. They have to collect data sometimes. And if you collect data, you got to look at the data and understand it. And Haley, your face is, that's why I waited. I want to make sure you're actually here. You can either talk or put in the chat group if you want to be private. Are you there? If you're not there, I'll give you a few seconds. Here we go. Haley currently lives in Tahoe. Okay, actually, you might be the only one that lives in Tahoe. Okay, so I want to mention, this truly is an online course in terms of you could live anywhere. I even one time had a student, and see if you can guess what it was, who did not live in any country and was never in any country during the whole class.
I think I remember this, but I won't say anything. I think it's like a cruise ship.
Yeah, she was She was working on a cruise ship. So she was floating along the Pacific. And that works, and we can make it work. As long as what you absolutely have to have, which is obvious, is internet.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot pass this class without internet. You have no chance, because this class is an internet-based class. So we're going to be using internet for everything except two specific things. So that's what the class is. I guess I should introduce myself a little bit too. Again, my name is Larry Green. I like to call it my first name, but whatever you call me, I'm okay with, as long as it's professional. So Larry, sir, you know, Green, whatever you want to say is fine. I've been teaching statistics longer than, I'm just looking at some of you guys, longer than you've been born for some of you. So I've been teaching at LTCC statistics for 22 years, and I taught Sonoma State statistics for a few years before that. That was my first job. You always have to start part-time and then you move on to full-time. So I've been teaching stats forever. It is the class that I use the most in my non-teaching part of my life, which is only a small part. Mostly I teach. But whenever someone needs some consulting work, then it's almost always, I'd say 90% of the time, it's for statistics. It's to look at their data and help them out. Sometimes, in fact, just yesterday or the day before, I had a past student, and past meaning like a decade ago student, who just sent me a request. She's finishing her PhD, and she had some questions, and I guess all about statistics, and I helped her out. But I also have worked with lawyers, as I mentioned, Stephen, and I've worked with someone who has a business in towel manufacturing, wanted to show that his towels were better than the ones made in China. And I helped him on creating a study so that he can analyze the towel durability and all kinds of stuff like that, and look at the data and do a statistical analysis based on that. So I use it all the time. I also consult sometimes for Tahoe stuff. So I've done some environmental things where they've looked at different ways of protecting the environment in Tahoe, and they wanted to find out what's most successful. And of course they have data, and then they need help. So I've been doing stats, and I use stats. I purposely try to use stats and not just teach it, because then I can actually tell you what's going on now and how people are using it. The very most recent non-student use of stats was for the Democratic Party. They wanted to find out who to endorse. And I helped them understand a survey they took to figure out who is the most likely candidate to win against the Republican candidate. And that was something that I did, and I helped them out. It was a lot of fun because I had never done anything like that before, but it was all statistics. So I use stats all the time, and I can tell you how stats is used, and I'm excited about it. I love it, and I like doing this. I've also been teaching online forever, okay, and not forever because online hasn't been forever, and I'm not a million years old, but I've been teaching for over a decade, and I work a lot with statewide projects, and I lead them, and I kind of talk to colleagues throughout the state and get good ideas and try to, build better online classes. And you're going to see a lot of resources that I put up, and a lot of them I got help from others because we're a community, and that's how life should be, is you should always work together if you can. And we'll see, even in this class, you're going to be working together. So are there any questions before I move on and start getting into the details like the syllabus and the navigation? Okay, I just want to let you know, anytime you have a question, feel free either to put in the chat box or to say it, whatever you'd like. And I'm going to be giving webinars. I give a webinar a week except this week, because this week I do the orientation. Orientation is really important because that's when you find out about the class. But then every week I do a content webinar where I do a chapter or two chapters from the book. I go over the highlights of those chapters, and we work on that. Okay, with the orientation, it's mandatory you're here live. So, for you guys, 2, 4, 6, 7 of you, it's great that you're here. For the rest of the class, they better be here tomorrow. Otherwise, there's a big penalty, and that is 5-page paper, and no one wants to choose a 5-page paper. And you still have to watch the webinar. You just watch it on YouTube. So why would you watch the YouTube? Why would you watch on YouTube and have to do the 5-page paper? For the regular webinars, which the first one will be on Tuesday, by the way, those are, they're mandatory to watch. They're optional to log in live. You can get more out of it if you log in live, because then you can ask questions live and I can answer it immediately. Whereas if you're watching on YouTube, obviously you could ask all the questions you want, but I'm just a video and get any answers. So, but you can always ask questions via the online forum and stuff like that, but you won't get immediate answers. So if you can log in live, it's better to log in live than if you can't, because either way, you got to watch it. So let me pop into the course, and let me go back to screen share. And let me find it. I think it's... No, it's not this one. Just a minute. There we go. That one. Okay, so this is a course, and this is what's called the home screen of the course. Also, let me, I always have to make sure I can see the chat box. Where's the chat box? Try this again. It's not showing me the chat. Sorry about this. Try moving around a bit. Just thinking. Oh, I also want to warn you, I'm not seeing the chat box. Hopefully I'll figure out how to get it on. Okay, let me warn you also, I'm at home now. I usually don't do this at home, but it's Sunday and the college is closed on locked up on Sunday. So if my internet is slower, I apologize. Usually when I'm at the college, the internet's fast at the college. So there isn't any problem. If there's any problem, it's your side, not my side. But today, Tahoe Charter is not necessarily the best. I know most of you aren't from Tahoe, but just let you know that. So this right here is, question?
Yeah, so if we're like at work when you have the webinar and we watch it on YouTube within the week, and it's not a 5-page paper, how do we prove that we've watched the webinar?
Good question. Good question. I will show you, I promise. Okay. So I'll get to it as I navigate through and show you the navigation. Sound good?
I just want to let you know that my internet is kind of spotty and it's cut out like 3 times. So
yeah, I understand, because mine might be also, but it hasn't yet. It's spotty earlier this morning. I was really worried. Okay. Yeah, I will show you, I promise.
Thanks.
Okay. So, and in fact, no matter what, you're going to have to do what I show you later on. I want to start with the syllabus, though. Okay, so here's the syllabus. I'm just going to go through some of the stuff. Again, you can read through it, but I want to go some of the stuff that's specifically really important and might be a little more technical in terms of, you know, how you make things work. First thing, contact information is important. So there's a lot of different ways of contacting me. One is I do have a phone number, but I'm not in my office all the time. I do teach face-to-face, so a lot of times during the day I'm teaching. It's one of those things that math teachers do. And then, but in my office some, and during office hours I'm in my office, obviously, and I'm in my office some other times. You can leave a message if you want to talk to me on phone, and that's fine. Email, on the other hand, I check more than is healthy probably. I'm on over 100 times a day checking my email. So pop in an email. I do outdoor activities, so I could be, you know, hiking or something for, you know, 6 hours, but then I'll get back to you. If I don't get back to you within a day, worry. Okay, it means that either I'm dead, okay, because it never really happens, or Tahoe had some awful catastrophe and we don't have electricity for the whole day. But it would mean that, okay? Or it means that for some reason your email that you sent me didn't get through. But I will get back to you. That just happens. Anytime, and I don't even imagine it happening at all, anytime that I even anticipate maybe it'll take a day, I'll send out an announcement saying it's going to take a while. But that usually doesn't happen. But it won't be every minute because I do sleep. Okay, and in fact, I'll let you know I am an early riser. So if you send me something after 10 o'clock, sometimes even after 9:30, I'll get back to you at 5 in the morning. because I'm sleeping. So I'll let you know in terms of if you're a late nighter and you want questions answered, it won't happen until 5 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning or something like that. And then I'll get back to you. So that's just my own physical schedule. We all sleep. So because I do let you know that I'm human. The Canvas webpage, the live office hours and information, you're on it. So obviously you know how to get on it because you're here. Okay, but if you're watching this as a YouTube video, you may not know how to get on it. So I'll show you the easiest way is through the modules. Archive lecture. I created a YouTube, a lecture for the chapter, for each of the 13 chapters. That's an extensive lecture that's comprehensive, that has pretty much everything you need to know for the class for that chapter. And I post on YouTube. If you click on that, then you can see there's 1 through 13. So there's one for every chapter. They're also closed captioned, so that if you have any issues, I want to make sure that everything's accessible in this class. And you'll be able to get to those YouTube lectures. And you'll notice there's YouTube, so it shows you how long they are. You know, some of them are a little over an hour long. So these are full-length lectures. Some are more like a half an hour. But they are, you know, they do have lots of examples and discussion. Okay, so that is one of the resources. I also have short introductory videos that just gives you a 2-minute idea of what the class is about, or what for that week. I have videos of worked out problems. More than likely, you're going to be using this, not as a link of all of them because it's overwhelming because there's so many of these. Goes on and on and on. There's a lot of different kinds of problems in this class. But you'll be more likely to be working on your assignment, and there'll be a link to a video of one of these worked out problems, and then you can watch it. And you'll see these are more like 4 or 5 minutes. And they're focused on that particular specific kind of problem. So you'll be able to watch that while you're working on the assignment so you get an idea how to do the problem. Okay, the good thing is I've been teaching this so long, every year I try to enhance it and add more resources. So each year I try to improve it, and you're lucky enough that you're not in my first year where I didn't have much. Now there's a lot up there. You're not lucky enough to wait another 10 years when I have 10 more years of stuff. I don't even know what I'm going to put up there, but I will put up stuff because I enhance every year. This one. There's some applets. I'll show, those are more for studying for the test. I'll show you those another day. The textbook. One of the things, and this is something I'm very proud of, is that I'm one of the statewide, actually national leaders in what's called the OER movement. I don't know if any of you heard that before. The easy way of understanding what it means is it's a free textbook initiative. So I am a believer in using internet resources, and instead of making you spend $250 for the textbook, because that's what most statistics classes are, is they use a $200 to $250 book, and you have to buy it. Okay, for me, all you have to do is know how to click, and then you have the book. This is an online class. Most people do not need to buy the book. Okay, most people are just going to go to the textbook, and I'll show you where the textbook is. Let me find it. Let me go to the module again, and I'll show you because it's right in the modules. The module is the main link for this course. The syllabus is good for introducing like what the class is about, but where you're going to go to is the modules. And in particular, under course information, it has all the things I just talked about. And it also has the collaborative statistics textbook. It wants me to click there. And there's a book. So this costs nothing. All you have to do is click on it. And if you go to contents, you can pick the chapter you want to read and the section you want to read and just, I don't know, read one of them. So the book is there. It's available. It's online. If you're one of the very few students, and with online students I don't get a lot, that need a paper copy, you can do a Get This Book. Also, if you're one of the students that is going to be offline but with your smartphone or computer a lot, then you can get a PDF version and pop it on your smartphone and computer, But it is, if you try to print it, it's like 700 pages long. So just a warning, it's a lot of pages to print. But it's all available. Or you can order one for like, I don't know, it's like $40 or $50 or something. And if you click get this book, I think it sends you to Amazon and you can get a book, but you don't need to. You can do everything online. Any questions so far? Okay, let me go back to the syllabus. And again, I'm not going to read all the stuff. I graded a 90, 80, 70, 60. Okay, so that's the scale. You'll know at the end of the quarter what you got because it'll show you. And in the course, there are assignments. That's like homework, basically. There are discussion post assignments. A lot of those are, just a minute. A lot of the discussion post assignments involve going online, finding an article that relates to what we're doing that week, posting the article, and then going online and analyzing one of your classmates' posts article and doing the statistics or talking about how the article did the statistics. And I'd say 3/4 are like that. There's a couple where you just have to post a problem. You make one up and you post it. But most of them are that. And then there's a few fun ones that are just introduce yourself. They happen. There's one fun one this week. And then there's a couple of reflection ones. How did the project go kind of stuff. How did the course go? But most of them are statistics involved. Project 1 and 2, then there's a proctored midterm. I'll get into the proctored in a minute. There are 2 projects and a proctored final exam. And that's, of course, notice that 50% of the grade are the proctored tests. So that is necessary. I want to let you know, if you are expecting to pay someone to take your test for you, you should be dropping my class, finding another online class that allows you to do that because I don't let you do it. You're going to have to show your ID when you take your test. So unless you can find your identical twin to take it for you, it's not going to work. You need to make sure that you learn the material so you can take the test and pass it. Okay, now let me talk about the tests. So I'm not a believer in making you memorize. I don't think that's very useful, especially in today's society where you always have a smartphone at your hand and you can always ask Siri the little tiny things. But the in-depth stuff, that's the stuff, at least right now, you got to have your brain to do. So I let you have a 3x5 note card. So it's a small note card you can write on the front and back. You can write anything you want on it. You can write as big or small as you want, anything you want, and that's up to you. And that way you don't have to memorize the formulas or anything like that. So most people like that. The main thing that you need to know is these tests are proctored tests. So there are different choices for the proctoring. One choice is to come to Tahoe, okay? And if you live in Tahoe, which I think we only have one person from Tahoe here, but maybe some of the YouTube watchers live in Tahoe. If you live in Tahoe, you go to our library and they have a testing center. It's free. You need to call a day ahead of time or so. You know, I recommend calling about 5 days ahead of time and setting up an appointment. And then you go in, you take your test. The tests are 2 hours, and then you're done, and then I grade it. Okay? And then anytime you come to my office, if you take it in Tahoe, then I figure you can come to Tahoe and pick it up. You can come to my office, and I'll give it to you. If you don't live in Tahoe or don't want to come to Tahoe, but I do want to let you know, if you haven't been to Tahoe, Tahoe is a beautiful place to come visit. There's no better excuse to come visit Tahoe than you have to take a test. But you don't have to. Okay? So if you live in San Francisco or you live in the Central Valley or wherever you happen to live, then all you have to do is you have to find a proctor center. And let me tell you the main proctor centers most people use. One is their local college. You go to the college. Most colleges have a proctoring center. Sometimes they call it a testing center. And set an appointment. Some charge, and you got to pay if they charge. I don't pay for that. So it is up to you to do that. Sometimes your local library, your public library will have a proctor. And that's a good place to go to get a proctor. Other proctors that some people go to, Sylvan Learning Center. Mostly it's tutoring like children, K-12 kids, but they also have proctoring services. They're a little more money than the colleges typically, but not always. And they offer proctoring services. I also can get creative. You can't say, I'm going to have my best friend proctor for me. That's not a proctor. But, for example, if you're in the military, you can have your commanding officer proctor for you, as long as I can get it to your commanding officer via email. So I can get creative. So if it's an official, then I'll let that happen. Things like a commanding officer. So when the person took it on the cruise ship, I had the minister of the cruise ship. You know, how does every cruise ship has a minister? I had that person proctor. I figured I could probably trust that person. If I do the suggestion, then it's always okay. If you do the suggestion, I'll look at it, is the way it works. I want you to let me know 1 week before who your proctor is, and you're going to have to give me the contact information for your proctor. Specifically, I need the email address. Because if I don't have the email address, I can't email your test. If I can't email your test, how am I going to get the test to the person? I don't snail mail. So I email, I can fax, but most people like email. And then that works out the best. I do check and I do research to make sure the person's official. So I will go online, look up that email address, and then double check that it is a proctor. Okay, so just let you know that is something I do. But that's how you let me know. And then that person either takes a picture of it or scans it in and emails it to me, and then I grade it. That's how the testing works. There's a midterm and there's a final. They're each 2 hours long. Any questions at all on the testing? I will go over it again. Okay. Okay. Quiz policies probably should be assignment. I don't even know what to call it. It's your week-to-week problem sets that you're doing. Whether you call it a quiz or assignment, it's a something. So that quiz policy is they're due Sundays. Okay, but you want to get it done by Friday. That's my recommendation, because I have a policy, and it is if it comes by Friday and you realize you're not going to be able to get it done by Sunday, and you let me know on Friday that you want an extension, I'll always grant an extension. Okay, not a month extension, but usually a 2 or 3 day extension. If you let me know after Friday, it's too late. So I want you to be thinking about the assignment at least by Friday. Okay. They are online, and they're problem sets, and you can do each of the problems as many times as you want until you're happy with your score on that problem. And my recommendation is you shouldn't be happy if you don't get it right. You know, make sure that you know how to do the problem. If you have any questions on a particular problem, just copy and paste it into the Q&A forum and say, I don't understand this one, how do I do it? And then I will, and I'll help you. Okay, and I look at that Q&A forum several times a day. It may be a few hours, but it won't be days. And then I'll help you. I'm here to help. I want everyone to pass. Okay, last quarter I was really close. I had all but one student pass my class out of the 25 or so people that took the final. So again, people pass, but they work their butts off, but they pass. And but you need to communicate with me. Let me know where you get stuck. Let me know where you need help, and I'm here to help you. Okay, I want you all to make it. Okay, that is my goal. Okay, so that's the main thing. Another thing about the quizzes, homework assignment, whatever you call it. First thing is I had a team, and our team wrote this. So this is also free. I told you I'm a big believer in the free textbook initiative, but not just textbook, but free homework assignment. In fact, right now I have a $150,000 grant to do this for all classes, not just statistics, all math classes. Okay, algebra 1 through differential equations. So it's like the whole sequence. But the pilot was a statistics class. This will be the third quarter of our project doing this. So most of the errors have been found, but there are thousands of questions we put into this. So that if you try a problem again, you're going to get a different problem that has the same concept. But because of that, there are thousands of problems, so I can't say that every error has been spotted. So again, if you're confused, it might be because there's an error in the problem. Post it on the Q&A forum, and if that's the issue, then I fix the problem so that no one in the world will ever have the problem again. Right now, there are thousands of people using this system. So we're finding all the errors as we go, but it's still less than a year old. Okay, so again, please let me know if you find any mistakes. And so I like to say this is a free program, but there is a cost, and the cost is, please let me know if you find any mistakes so I can make it better. So that's the cost. Okay, there are discussion posts. Again, the discussion assignments are due every Sunday, except the initial post is due Thursday. Because if you do it Sunday night, then no one's going to be able to answer your post because you did it at the last minute, and other people may not be on the last minute. So they're due Thursday night for your initial post, and then you have till Sunday to answer and analyze. I want to also let you know this is one of the very best practices for the test, because when you do the assignment on the computer, just as the homework problems that I made, the problem with those is those are computer graded, so you're not writing sentences. The discussions is your one time to practice writing sentences, and then I can give you critical feedback on whether your writing is appropriate or not in terms of the use of statistical vocabulary. So this discussion forum posting is really, really important, because it's where you're going to be able to get feedback on whether you've got it or if you're confused. Okay? There's one other place, but the other place is much higher stakes. Discussion is lower stakes in terms of points. Okay, and again, you can always post. You can always post on the Q&A forum if you have questions about the discussion. I also do one more thing that will help you out, and that is if you post by Wednesday, then I will look at it, your initial post, just the initial post. And if it's not appropriate, I'll let you know so that you can make it better so you can get full credit. If you post on Thursday, then if it's not appropriate, then you lose points. Okay, if it is appropriate, you get full credit. Okay, I always post a sample post for anything that's statistics oriented. Okay, and I'll also post one while we're speaking actually today. Okay, any questions on anything so far? Any questions? Okay, so let me, and unfortunately I can't see the chat box. Again, I usually do this from college, and at college I have no problem because I have two screens, so that chat is somewhere. Let's see. Oh, I think there it is. Nothing. Maybe. Okay. The live webinars is where we are now. The orientation is different than the rest of the live webinars in that the orientation, you have to show up live. Okay. Otherwise, there's a big ugly paper you got to write. You don't want to write papers if you don't want to. Okay. The regular webinars, and again, our first one is going to be Tuesday, will be Monday or Tuesday night, unless there are special requests, because I will take requests. But I like to make a Monday and Tuesday night because it gives you enough time to watch the webinar and then do the work that you need to do by Sunday. So that's why I try and make it early in the week. So they'll usually be Monday and Tuesday at 6, unless there's a request. And I'm going to try and vary between Monday and Tuesday. That way, if you have a Monday class of something else, you won't miss every one of them. And same idea for Tuesday. Okay, but if you can never make Monday and Tuesday, put in a special request, and I can do that. I can change it. But I'm not going to put it Friday, because at that point, for example, Thursday, you're supposed to have already done the initial post on your discussion forum. So it needs to be sometime Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday. I could do lunchtime, evening, but typically I've found evenings are best for most people being able to make it. Okay. And just to note, the link to the live webinar will always be the same. It's where you are now. So if you bookmark that, then you've got it. I will also post it in lots of places. I send it in lots of discussion, lots of announcements, so it's no problem finding the link. And it does work on a smartphone. It works on a computer. It works on everything. That's why I choose this system. Okay, there are two projects. There are two projects for this class. And I'm not going to get into the details of the content of the project today. We're going to have a webinar. We'll spend a half an hour probably just on that for each of the projects. But I do want to talk about what you can do today to start. And that is get a partner or two. So just to note, these projects are group projects, not individual projects. So you must find a partner or two. I recommend having 3 people to a project for more than one reason. One reason is I do have some people drop the class. Although last quarter I was like, I think I only had 1 in the entire class drop. But normally I have a lot more. So I'm hoping that this quarter I'm going to keep you all too, just like last quarter. Last quarter was real successful. But I do get people dropping, and it sucks if your partner drops because then you got to go scramble at the last minute, finding another partner or joining some other partnership, and that's a pain. So I strongly recommend 3 of you so that if 1 of you drop, there's still 2 of you left. The other reason to have 3 is that way you can share the wealth. So there's a lot of work to do. And if you have 3 people to do it, you have 1/3 of the work instead of 1/2 of the work. So I don't know, for me, it sounds like 1/3 is better than 1/2 to do. So that's another reason. And that way you have 3 eyes reviewing it and you can get a better project. So that's a suggestion. This is an online class. So you are expected to be able to work online with each other. I do not tell you how to work online. Like you can use Skype if you want. You can use email. You could visit each other. That's fine too. Face-to-face is fine if you want to, but it's not required. So for example, I forgot who it was, but I know there were 2 of you living in San Francisco. You might want to connect. You don't have to, but you're close to each other, and then you can talk. Then you can meet in a coffee shop or something, or wherever you want to meet. But you don't have to. Okay, if you're just a private person, and you can just totally just meet online, and that's fine. Most people use Google Docs, but you don't have to. The reason why they use Google Docs is it's easier to work collaboratively, so that you can type some of it, and then your partner can be on it while you're typing and watch it happen and stuff like that. And then you don't have to be passing documents in an email back and forth. That's a lot clunkier. I guess there's a Microsoft Cloud you can use too, similar idea. But I recommend working on the cloud because it works better with a project like this. Okay, I want to show you, actually let me just finish this and then I'm going to show you the Canvas site, but kind of hold that thought in terms of finding the partner and talking about the project. I have a special discussion forum just for the project. There's a Q&A forum. So there are different ways of communicating with me and each other. If what you have to say is personal and other people will not benefit from it by learning information about statistics, use email. Okay? And you can use email through Canvas. You do an inbox and hit I think it's send or open or something like that, and it's pretty easy to use. If it's not personal, if it's something like, I was having trouble understanding this particular problem on this week's assignment, can you help me with it? Don't send me an email on it, because other people can learn from that how to do a problem. Okay, or I don't understand what it means to talk about the standard error. That's when you post on the Q&A forum or the project discussion forum, which I'll be talking about, because that's something everybody can benefit from. Okay, so, but if it's something like, I will be taking the midterm in San Jose at 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday, and this is my proctor's email address, you don't send that on the Q&A or a forum. That you just email me, because other people aren't going to benefit from that. Okay, so that's more of a personal message. Okay, any questions about communicating? Okay, you're always happy. You're always welcome to send me feedback about the course. I always want to make it better. You have a couple ways. You could just post on the Q&A forum, and I will definitely look at it. But there's also, I created an anonymous feedback forum. So if it's something, but for some reason you don't want me to know who you are when you give that suggestion, you can do that, and then I'll be able to see that too. I won't be able to see who you are, but I'll know the request. Most people post on the Q&A because, I don't know, most of the suggestions aren't that personal. most of the suggestions are more like, I really need to hear more information about this topic. That would be nice to share. And that most people don't mind if they throw that in a Q&A form. Okay, I have some netiquette guidelines. There's a link to that, but basically it says be polite to each other. Just because you don't physically, you're not physically face-to-face, doesn't mean you're not all people, and that you shouldn't be nice to each other and treat each other humanely and politely and professionally. So that's important. And I do look at all the forums just to make sure that you are, but there's usually not a problem. We're all adults. So just be nice. The office hours I've already pretty much talked about. I'm in my office specifically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, but I'm also in my office on Thursday. I just, by the college policy, I have to have 5 hours, and I should have, I only teach Monday, Wednesday, Friday face-to-face, so I have more on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I'm around in my office. The only time when I'm not around in my office are 11 to 2:45 on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because I'm teaching. So you won't find me in my office ever during those times. Okay, just about. Okay, except 12:50 to 12:55 maybe, because I get like this little tiny break, and those I'll just be eating as fast as I can because I'll have no time to eat lunch. Okay, calculator. Calculator is the one thing that is a requirement in terms of financial. Okay, but there is a way to do it free. Okay, and so one way of getting it, so first thing is I strongly recommend the TI-83 or TI-84 Plus, because that's the standard statistics calculator that pretty much every class in the country uses. So I use that one. It's ancient. It's not my favorite technology. No one uses it anymore to do real statistics. They use the internet, but unfortunately, I can't let you have the internet on tests, because then you'll like email each other and stuff. But the 83 and 84, that's what you're using on the tests. If you live in Tahoe, or if you can get to Tahoe, one of the things, in fact, I just bought one today and 2 yesterday, is I have learned, it's one of these business economic things. I know we had one business, it was a business physical therapy thing or something like business ag as it was, but I know a little business, and that is that this month and next month are the times to buy calculators on eBay. So I get a really cheap deal on eBay calculators. You don't absolutely need the calculator until the midterm, because online has everything. But the midterm you don't have on access. Okay, but if you don't have a calculator, you can either borrow one from someone, you just need it for those 2 days, the midterm and the final, and then you can use online resources other times, or you could purchase one on eBay. Okay, you may be competing with me because I'm purchasing them now, and you should be able to get them for around $50, including shipping. I just got one for $42, which was really cheap this morning, or you can go to our library and get a calculator for free for the entire quarter, but you do have to return it at the end of the quarter. Okay, so that is important, because then the next statistics class can check them out, and we will have enough for anyone who comes by our library and grabs it. But you have to physically go. If you don't, then you have to go find one. You can borrow one from a friend, or you can buy one. You can buy one new, but they're like $120 new. So that's up to you. If you have a learning disability, we will make sure that it's accommodated. You should contact our Disability Resource Center. There's a link to it here. And whatever your needs are, we'll make it happen. Okay? We can make it happen. Sometimes it's extra time, and if you're using a proctor at a different place, then I just give you extra time at that different place. Sometimes it is other special things, and we'll make that happen too. If you need larger font, we can make that happen with the test. Whatever the disability is, we'll make sure that this class is accessible to you. Tutoring, the good news is there is free online tutoring 24/7. So it's something called NetTutor. And it's a national service, so they don't necessarily know me. So you have to work with them on, they know statistics, but you don't just say, well, I'm working on chapter 3. They don't know what book you're using, so you have to go through and talk to them. But they'll help you out, and they know stats, and that works well. Again, you're an online student, so we have online tutoring. We also have some limited tutoring at our college if you want to come by. But again, there's online tutoring, and that's what most people use for the online class. I have links for getting help with Canvas is a system we're using for that the whole state uses, actually. And then the word on honesty, the main thing is don't cheat. Okay, you'll get killed if you cheat because you won't be able to pass the midterm and the final, which you have to do by yourself. Are there any questions about the syllabus before I show you how to navigate the class? Okay, so let me go and talk to you about the class. So the first thing is the main button you're going to be hitting is this modules button. The modules are where all the work is. So everything for this class is in the module. Okay? And all of this stuff that I just showed you is in there. I want to show you one thing. Statistics spreadsheet program. This first one I wrote. This has videos on how to do it. And right here, if you have a Google account, if you log into your Gmail and then click it's easier actually, it turns out. What you'll want to do is you want to hit File, make a copy, and then name it something and hit OK. I'm going to hit Cancel because I already have my system. And what I've done is I made a spreadsheet program. Not only am I a teacher, but I'm a programmer also. And I programmed everything we need to do for this class into this spreadsheet program. And in fact, it's easier than the calculator because you just type in the numbers. So if I type in a bunch of numbers, how about 34th, the next number, and you look, it automatically changes. There's no menu or anything like that. You just go and you type in the numbers. This is for one variable statistics. There's 2 variable statistics, and then you have 2 sets of numbers. I also have regression analysis. Again, you're not supposed to know what all this stuff is. Chi-squared, ANOVA, that's going to happen throughout this class. And I have something called data lists, and that is some of the stuff that you need to do that isn't from a list of data, but is from statistics or other calculation stuff. And then I have a computational stuff. Again, you're not supposed to know what all this means yet, but throughout the course, this is available. You're going to be using this for your project. What I have learned, for me, the absolute #1 thing when I designed this class, and I think you're all going to agree, is that this class gets accepted at every university for transfer. Okay, my guess, that's the biggie. If I told you this is just a fun class that's not going to count for your college, you'd be dropping today probably, right? But this gets accepted for transfer for every college for general transfer. Now, I want to tell you for graduate programs, sometimes they want some specialized that subject statistics. So I do want to let you know that. But this is definitely standard course for transfer for every college and university. And one of the things that some of them require is spreadsheet. And this is a spreadsheet component. So that way I can say, when they call me up, and I can say, yes, they're required to use a spreadsheet. They had to do it for 2 projects. And then they say, great, we're going to let it transfer. Whereas if I say no, there are some, especially majors, that say, nope, you're going to take it at our college. So that's just a note why the spreadsheet is absolute. Okay, let me go back to the modules, and I want to show you a little bit. By the way, I usually go an hour to an hour and a half per webinar. So my guess is we'll probably have another 10 or 15 minutes. Hopefully that'll work for you. So let me show you what a regular week looks like. So a regular week, what I recommend is you just start on the first tab and then go through each of these. So the first tab, This is that little short video. I think it's maybe 2 minutes or something. And it talks about what we're doing for the day. I try to set it up so that they're all in at our campus so you get an idea of what LTCC looks like. You're online students, but you're still LTCC students. So I think it's a good idea to kind of have a feel for our campus. If you hit the next button, it'll tell you send you to the next item that is on the things to do in this class for this week. So you'll notice we're already here. This is the orientation. You'll notice it's Sunday at 10 a.m. and it's Monday at 6 p.m. is the orientation webinar. Okay, you do not need to go to tomorrow's, by the way. Okay, let me double check. I got Haley, Jeff, Bailey, Farah, Kyle, Dominic, and Stephen. Okay, so if any of you are there that I didn't pop in because I'm not seeing, because when I'm in this mode, I don't see y'all, but I'm looking, I think that's everyone. Okay, so for this one, I took notes and I wrote down who you are. Normally, I won't do that. I'll show you what I'm going to do normally. Okay, if you click the next button, then this is the week 1 webinar. Usually there's going to be 1 webinar a week. Just this one's got 2. And that's because there's one for orientation and one for the weekly statistics material. So this is the week 1 webinar. This link stuff, it's the same link. All these have the same link. You'll notice it's Tuesday at 6. If you can't make Tuesday at 6, then you'll be able to log in. You'll be able to go to the YouTube video. What I will do is after I finish recording, so after I finish the 6 o'clock webinar, usually around 7:30 or so, what I will do is I will post it on YouTube. It usually takes around an hour to get it posted because there's all kinds of computer processing stuff that has to happen and uploading and stuff like that. And then it'll be posted, and then what I do is I adjust this and I pop the video right onto this page. So you don't have to go search it on YouTube. You can just go to this page and click watch. Okay. And let me show you the next one. Student learning outcomes. This is what we're going to be doing this week. I'll let you read through that. And then the next one. This is the full-length video. So I've separated out so you know the full-length video for the week. So you want to be looking at each thing for the week. And the next one, this is full-length video on chapter 2 because there's 2 chapters this week. And the next one, these are the short videos. These you don't have to watch, but I post it just in case you want to. The full-length I strongly recommend watching. And in fact, if you watch it before the webinar, then you'll feel a lot smarter. Because then when I go over stuff, it'll make a lot more sense. Because in the webinars, I go faster because I can really make refined videos and spend longer if I need to on the important points. In the webinars, we have some Q&A stuff. Okay, the webinars the long videos are PowerPoints, but I talk over the PowerPoints and give you some extra information with the calculator and stuff. So these are the PowerPoints in case you want the PowerPoints. Some people like to print the PowerPoints and then take notes as they're watching the long video. It's a nice way to study. And this is chapter 2's PowerPoint. Okay, so this is the first discussion forum. So let's do this one together. Oh, it looks like someone has already done it. I usually like to be first, but I wasn't. What do you know? Okay, so let's make sure this is good. Okay, so this is 2 truths and 2 untruths. And here's how it works. This is a special one in that it's just fun, but it's not fun if you lose points. So all you have to do is do it, and you'll get full credit. Okay, so we have Danielle. Boy, pronouncing this one. Beata, maybe? Something like that. You're not here, so I have no idea. Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle Beata. Here are my 2 truths. I have blue eyes. I am an expert in historical social dances. I went to Italy last year. Okay. And she also posted on how she's going to use statistics. Up here, I forgot to mention, are the instructions. Read through the instructions. Make sure you answer everything I have up here. I don't give you anything unreasonable, but I give you stuff to do. And she requires it for her bachelor's degree in business administration. And the counselor mentioned can be using it at least for the upper division business classes. I've never taken an upper division business class, but I believe the counselor. Okay, as for the career, I plan at some point to open a business up, which statistics will be used to help me make important decisions, such as analyzing data of what customers are looking for and making decisions off the information I have received. Someone else is going to reply. For this one, you could reply to lots of people's, because that way it's more fun and you're not answering like some special question. Let me show you how to post so I can post one. You can see how it works. So you hit reply up here. So here are my 2 truths and 1 untruth. I'm not even sure if that's a real word. See if you can guess which are truthful. Okay, so now I just got to make some up that may be truthful and may not be truthful. So the first one, like I said, it's really easy to use this system. You could do fancy stuff like boldface and italics. Sometimes you're going to want to use this equation editor if you want to put math in, which for this particular one you don't need to. So my truths are how about, or untruths, you never know. So how about the first one is my PhD is in statistics. How about number 2 is I am the national editor and the national chair of the mathematics board that evaluates online mathematics resources. And number 3, just for fun, is I personally disabled the space shuttle while it was in orbit, causing it its return to Earth to be delayed by a day. And then you just hit post reply. And that's it. And then what you can do is you can reply to other people's posts. And I'll let you reply. And the way you reply to other people's posts is you hit this reply on their post. I'm going to let other people reply to Daniel's post, so I'm going to cancel this. Any questions on how to use the discussion forum? Okay, if I go to next, then this is the second one. We're not quite ready for this one. You want to have at least gone to the webinar on that chapter, which will be Tuesday, or read the book, that chapter 1 and 2 in the book, or done the assignment. But you want to do a little bit of work before you work on one that's actually statistics. For this discussion, please find an article online or course video that discusses a study that was done that uses one of the sampling techniques that we've discussed in class, which we haven't yet because I'm going to talk about Tuesday. You will want to search online for a journal article, news article, or course video. One resource is here. Then post just a link to the article. Then find a link from, and if the article is really long, go to page 5 and you'll find where the sampling technique is. Type that up to help your classmates find it. Okay, make it easier on your classmates because you've already found it, so you can help your classmates. Don't talk about what the sampling technique is, but help them navigate. Okay. And if you're going to be using a online research article, make sure that everybody can get to it. So if you get it through our LTCC library, make sure you write that down. If you get it through your college library, then we probably can't get to it if your college is not LTCC. So that's just a note, is that if you're using your college's library research system and your college is not LTCC, don't do it, because we won't be able to access that, because there's login information that it needs, which we're not a student there, so we can't do that. Okay, then comment on whether the technique produced a representative sample, identify any biases that may have occurred, and describe how the data collection could have been improved in order to avoid these biases. Please post a link by Thursday or earlier so the students have enough time to respond. I will post tonight a sample of this. I do that on Sundays usually. Sometimes Saturdays, but usually Sundays. And I'll post a sample link and a sample reply. Don't reply to mine. Reply to each other's. Okay, let me hit the next button. We're almost done, I promise. There we go. Okay, so this is what the weekly assignments look like. And again, you won't be ready for this until you've read the chapter and watch the webinar, watch the long videos, and then you go to the assignments. So this is a quickie. Identify the type of data that would be used to describe a response, and then quantitative discrete, qualitative continuous, qualitative categorical. Okay. Right now, I think it's because I'm on instruction mode. It says review mode. So make sure your scores are saved. If not, let me know, and I'll check out if there's any issues with the system, because it's our first time this quarter using it. So I click one, and then I hope, and I hit show answer. And you can always try again if you didn't get the right answer. Oh, sorry, you can't hit show answer. You won't have that. So I got it wrong, and notice it says try another similar question, and you can try another one, and then most watched television show, which type is it? Okay, and you can keep trying until you figure it out, but don't just guess. Make sure you're learning. That's the important thing. Okay, and there's 15 problems to do this week. Some are multiple choice. Most of these are, some are you type in answer, you type in numbers. So it says enter an integer or decimal number. Okay. And some are, like this one's a matching one, A, B, C, D, E, with matching here to here. So there's different types. Okay. Any questions so far? And when you're done, you can hit submit when you're happy with your 15 answers. All right, so let me go to next again. That's chapters 2. Same idea, there's 14 of those. Let me go to next. Secret word quiz. Okay, you're not ready to do this one yet, but after watching Tuesday's webinar, either you're going to be there Tuesday or watch it on video, it doesn't matter. Somewhere in the webinar, I will give a secret word. It'll be really obvious. I'm going to put like a box. I'm going to type in the word secret word. I'm going to give you the secret word. And then there's what's called the secret word quiz. Yours won't say preview, it'll say take the quiz. And there's one question. What was the secret word for the week 1 webinar? You type in the secret word, you hit submit, and you're done. So that's how you show that you watched the webinar. Today's different. Today I take attendance because I want you to watch live. You have to do this by Sunday. If you don't do it by Sunday, then you have a 5-page paper. And you don't want to have to do a 5-page paper.
So I'm looking at the points. Is the webinar only worth a point, or is that just like a filler point and watching the webinar is worth more? Or
it's different. So that's a good question you've got. So it is technically worth 1 point, which is nothing. It's a filler point. But more importantly, go back to the syllabus. You must watch the webinar. There's no choice, because here's my policy. Any student who does not attend the orientation webinar will be dropped from the class at the end of the first week of class, period. Okay? Unless you do the 5-page paper and you have to watch it that way. In addition, a 5% course penalty will be given for each webinar that's not viewed. So if you miss 2 webinars, you can't get any in the class. Okay? But there is a way to make up a missed webinar, and that is watch it later and then write a 5-page essay that goes over every topic and example that occurred in the webinar. It's punitive. So you need to watch the webinars that week. Okay? If there's a real reason you can't, let me know, and that's an email you send me. But you just need to do it. So don't wait till Sunday night. Okay, so just watch it. It's not hard to watch a webinar. And the secret word quiz, it's not tricky. You type in the word and you're done. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay, and you don't want to write a 5-page essay.
Certainly not.
You don't want to write that. But I used to just say I'd drop you from the class or fail you. But I decided I'd give one out. Last quarter, out of the 25 students, I had one student who didn't watch a couple webinars, and she wrote 10 pages of paper. And that's what she did. All the rest of them watched. Because they're not hard to watch. You could even multitask. You could watch the webinar while you're eating dinner or something. You know, that's not a problem. Okay, but better is to log in, because then you can ask questions as they go. Any questions on this? Okay, but really good question. So let me go back, and we're almost done. So we were in week 1, and the weeks are mostly the same. We were over here. Actually, that was the last one. What do you know? Secret word quiz was the last item on that for week 1. So you saw the whole week 1. And by the way, just navigation stuff. If you click this little triangle, it closes week 1, and you can say open the triangle, open the week you want by clicking the triangle, and that'll open up the next week that you want to look at. And then you can just focus on where you're going. Does that make sense? Okay, after week 2, this will be the home page. In week 1, I want the home page to have information about the class. So that's why if you go the very first time you log in, this is the home page where it gives the announcement. It gives you my little video. And I thought I had, oh, I don't have it. I will have. Okay, so it just gives you a little info. Okay, just one more button that's kind of good to have is this discussion, a couple of them actually, the discussions. And in fact, I realized I got to put one in. I'm going to put a pinned one in. So I will put pinned discussions at the top of the things that are most important. And in this case, the 3 discussions that are relevant, actually there's one more. There it is. The 4 discussions that are relevant are going to be these 2 discussion assignments, the Q&A forum, and the project discussion. If you go to the project discussion, nothing's there right now, but what I recommend you doing, you can do this today, is hit a reply and say, I'm looking for a partner. If you want to work live with the partner, if you want to work, in person, say what city you want to work in. And if you're happy to work online, which most of you probably are, just say I'm happy to work online, I'm looking for a partner. If you're a procrastinator, make sure that you're working with other procrastinators or you're going to kill each other. Because if one person likes to work ahead of time and the other 2 people are procrastinators, the one who wants to work ahead of time is going to be really pissed off that the other 2 people aren't helping. Does that make sense? So it's important that you have the same schedules on working on the project. And that's about it for importance. Some people like to work face-to-face, but that's not necessary. If you do want to work face-to-face, say the city you want to work in. And you just type it in, hit reply, and then you can start forming partners. Okay, and you can do that today if you want and get some partners for the project. Any questions on that? The very last thing, and this isn't going to be what yours looks like. I guess I should actually let me not do this one because this isn't what yours looks like. I always forget that instructors look different than, my page looks a little different than your page, slightly different. So I'm going to go into student view. If you go to grades, then this gives you the grades on everything you've done and everything you haven't done. Obviously, you haven't done anything yet, so it's just going to be a bunch of empties. But through the quarter, it will tell you how you're doing. Right now, everything's NA because nothing's happened yet. But you can look at your grades. So let me leave student. Okay, I want to let you know the way I close all webinars, okay, whether it's orientation or not, is I open it up to anyone who has questions, and this is the Q&A time for anything you might want to ask. And I will stay until you're done asking questions. And you can say, normally be good evening, but this is have a good day, I guess, because it's morning. Normally we're going to have evening webinars. But you're welcome to ask any question you want. And if you want it to not be on YouTube, I can kill the recording too. And you could be the last to ask questions. You just have to ask for that. But this is the time, and I unmute you all, whether you like it or not. Unless there's some awful background party or something that goes on, which happens once in a while. You'd be surprised. I do like cute cat meows and stuff. I noticed, I forgot who it was. One of you had a cat. Okay, or like baby, fun laughter and stuff. So you're welcome to have that in the background.
No questions for me. I've got to get to work by noon, so
okay.
Thanks a lot.
All right, and again, ask questions, post on the Q&A on any questions you might have, and I'm here to help you out.
All right, excellent. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Have a great day. I'm going hiking after this.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm jealous. All right, see ya.
See ya. Any other questions?
Is it okay to work ahead, of the due dates?
I think the only thing I have set to not work ahead is the discussion forums, because that's supposed to be truly interactive communication discussion. Everything else is fine to work ahead. Obviously, the webinars you won't be able to see until they're happening. But everything else, like you can watch the videos, read the book, you can do the assignments, you can work on the project if you can get your project partners to want to work ahead too. But everything else, I think the discussion forums are the only ones, the discussion assignments are the only ones that you won't be able to work ahead because there's no one to reply to.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Normally I'll be at the college, but today I'm at home actually. Any questions? Again, if you have no questions, then you can just log off, say good night, good day, and then I'll know that we're kind of done. But if you have questions, I'm here to help.
All right, Dr. Green, have a good one.
All right, you too.
For everything.
See you, Joe.
Good eye.
All right, have a good day.
Have a good hike.
You too. Or a good time. Okay, for all of you watching this as a YouTube video, hopefully you're not, because hopefully you're doing the online tomorrow. Have a great day, night, evening, whatever you are.